The Oxyrhynchus Papyri is a collection of papyri excavated from the rubbish dumps of the ancient city of Oxyrhynchus. This was done by two young Oxford scholars in the late 19th and early 20th century. The names are Bernard Grenfell and Arthur Hunt. And then after an agreement with the local antiquity service, brought the papyri to England, actually deposited them at Oxford, where they have been ever since. So the Oxyrhynchus Papyri Project goes back to the late 1960s, when the British Academy started funding for the cataloguing of the collection. The AHRB took over in 1999 and the AHRC since 2005. Down to the late 60s, only 30 volumes have been published. Just under 50 years, another 50 have appeared. Without this funding, this would not have been possible. The funding allows the employment of dedicated researchers who make sure that there's basically a volume out every year, and also vastly improves the quality of the product.
The Oxyrhynchus Papyri is a sort of cover term for the contents of the rubbish dumps of the old city. When the excavators got there wasn't much left of the buildings, but there were this series of low mounds which turned out to be rubbish tips, and mixed up with the old sandals and bits of dead cabbage. There were a very large number of written items, bits of books, bits of documents, and the Oxyrhynchus Papyri covers all of those.
Everything people would put in writing in those days, they would do this on stone or what we call a perishable material such as papyrus. So this can range from a simple memorandum, a private letter, a contract, a tax receipt. It's very hard to think of a type of ancient document that doesn't come up in Oxyrhynchus, and actually in sufficient quantities to warrant close study.
It's thanks to this funding that we are able to sort out, for example, a group of papyri to publish together for the London Olympics. One of those, which was a contract by which a boy wrestler agrees to throw his next match for a fee. So basically the match is being fixed. Now this is an interesting reflection on the athletic spirit. Thanks to the AHRC, we managed to sort out a volume of this kind. This text was then presented at a colloquium in London with an invited general audience. It then progressed to the BBC World Service and then to Der Spiegel in Germany. So in this way also the funding helps to disseminate the finds to a wider audience.
So this is one of the original tin boxes that came from Egypt, full of papyri. This is the way the papyri look like when they're picked from the ground. A mass of small fragments that look like cornflakes. And if I pick up one here, I can see the beginnings of two lines with Greek names. These are all now in a line to receive conservation, which will allow us to see what they actually say.
You can rebuild the papyrus from its fragments, but you also rebuild Oxyrhynchus from its papyri. The other side is the detective side, where here is this piece of brown stuff with writing on. What is it? And when you find out what it is, what does it say? When you find out what does it say, you think, how does it relate to other things? And of course, different things strike different notes in you. In one way, I'm always glad to find a piece of Greek poetry, because that's a thing of beauty. In another way, I always like to find a private letter, because for a moment you get a kind of snapshot of someone's real life.
With the papyri, there's always something new to say. Something that will keep you excited, something that will never allow you to be bored. There's this joy of discovery and the joy of communication. You always have something new to say to the people, but also something new to steer you. People can come here and actually see the papyri and see what we do, how we conserve them, how we display them, and the whole process of how you can actually transcribe and translate the text.
So without that funding, it's not just we wouldn't have done this, but we wouldn't have actually managed to put out these interesting materials to the more general public. And that's something that we do think is crucial for the future of the humanities in general.